Welcome to Tashkent 2014, one of the preliminary tournaments leading up to the candidates final for the World Championship Challenger. It's in a series of FIDE Grand Prix series. A lot of great players in here, but especially for me is my buddy Karl Nakamura is in it, and I hope Karl does well. Anyway, folks, FIDE Grand Prix Series, Tashkent 2014. Games coming up. Here are the standings after 9 rounds. Unfortunately, my buddy Nakamura isn't in first, but Karjakin from Russia is first with 6 points. In second place is Karl Nakamura from the U.S., Mamedyarov with 5.5. Vashay Graf and Joe Baba with 5. Rajabov, Karjakin, and Caruana with 4.5. Yakovenko and Gary with 4. Kuzminjanov with 3. And poor old Boris with last. Boris Gelfand with 2.5. And that's the standings after 9 rounds. Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Round 9 from the current leg in the FIDE Grand Prix Series from Tashkent is between Sergei Karjakin, formerly from Ukraine, now representing Russia, and America's chess hero, my buddy Karl Nakamura from the United States, is black. It's going to be a King's Indian, so let's see how this works out. Looks like Karl's going for the win. By round 8, the round prior to this, he was tied in first place with Karjakin from Russia. C4, go for the first few moves here. This isn't a Joe Baba game, so it's going to be a normal opening. D6. I'm just going to go through it quickly here because everybody pretty much knows the King's Indian. Closing up the center. Knight to H5. That usually means this pawn's coming. G3. Knight to A6. Bishop E3, F5. There we go. There goes the F pawn. Computer thought maybe that worth looking at was knight to C5. That's an interesting move there. After F5, pretty much normal King's Indian. E takes, G takes. If wondering, bishop takes F5, of course. G4 loses a piece. After G takes, knight to G5. What to do, what to do? Queen E8. My computer's on off screen. It's about 3/4 of pawn advantage for white. That's what I like about King's Indians. They always lead to really fun games. Computer maybe had liked if knight had taken G3, F takes, pawn, knight takes H7. And believe it or not, that's an even game. Almost an even, yeah, about an even game for white. Crazy stuff though. That would be a lot more fun playing that way. After Queen E8, Bishop E2, Knight F6, Queen to D2, Queen to G6, get that queen over there to help protect the king. White castle's long, Bishop D7, H4. As usual in the King's Indian, when the white castle's on the queen side, here comes the H-pawn. Knight G4, just to block everything up, I think. H5 hitting the queen. Queen goes back to E8. Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen to E2, hitting that pawn. Of course, it's got a nice guard right here with the bishop. H6 hitting the knight. Knight comes back. That's a good spot for that knight too. There's no pawns to harass him. Queen F7. A3. Don't know why I did A3. I assume, of course, I'm looking at the computer off screen, and Queen to D2 was a #1 move with A3 second. Guess it just doesn't want the knight getting in there. Bishop F5. An interesting move here. Queen to D2 is a #1 move in the computer, but the top 3 moves are all very close in score. Rook to H4. Interesting, interesting. Queen to D7. He has to keep that G4 pawn. This is holding on his king side together. Queen to D2. King H7. Queen to C2. King H8. Queen to D2. King H7. Queen to C2. H8. D2. And believe it or not, the computer bears this out. King to H7 again. It's a dead draw. This is a position probably known to both of them. Don't know why Carl bailed out. I don't think he was down on time. He very rarely is. So he wanted to... Sergei Karjakin's a world-class player. To draw with black against Karjakin is no crime at all. I thought he might play it out a little bit, but he was tied for first going into this game, and I think he just wanted to draw. And that's the way it worked out. So that's the game, folks, from round 9. At least one of the games. Unfortunately, I thought it was going to be a lot more fun than it was being a King's Indian, but oh well. I want you all to remember, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
If you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. And it is for the players. It's not just a game. A game is Monopoly. A game is, Scrabble. A game is, any video game. This is much different. In fact, a lot of world-class players actually call it a sport. And they have Olympiad every 2 years from around the world. It's quite the deal. It's huge. I wish it was bigger in this area, but we're going to try to change that.
Just a few reasons why John Cordisco started the Broome County Chess Championship nearly 4 years ago. Players got together in Binghamton to compete for a big trophy and prize at Cordisco's Chess Center on Shenango Street Saturday.
When you're playing chess on tournament day, you forget about everything else in life, and all you worry about is 32 pieces and 64 squares.
Games run through Sunday with nearly a dozen people competing this weekend. There are 2 categories, open and reserve, for players of different skill levels. Many hope championships like these will bring more people to the game.
There are now ways to play that are kind of high-tech on the internet, but it's really a very old game, and I don't know why it doesn't. I think we just need someone like Fischer to give chess a shot in the arm.
For the younger people, I think that's a great thing because they really have to think, and when they're on Facebook or they're playing their video games, and it just becomes second nature, but this really makes them think.
But the event means more to Cordisco than just handing out trophies. Every year, he holds it in honor of his brother Francis, keeping his memory alive.
My youngest brother, he wasn't a chess player, he was a hockey goalie. He was a good one too, but he passed away a couple of years ago. My parents were pretty emotional when I first did it, and his 2 boys, my nephews, they know about it, and they really appreciate it. It's pretty cool. It's just something that I do, to honor him. It's sad in a way, but it also isn't, too, that he still carries on.
Building blocks of a tradition that means so much to so many in the Southern Tier, and one that Cordisco hopes will make chess big again. In Binghamton, Elise McGalanis.